Welcome to The Explainer. If you're a sci-fi fan, you know that sharp sting of a story cut short just as it was really hitting its stride, right? Well, today we're looking at the definitive, completely unproduced blueprint for the canceled 5th season of Star Trek Enterprise. And to be clear, this isn't fan fiction or just some internet rumor. No, this is the actual narrative roadmap laid out by showrunner Manny Coto and his writers. It's a genuine glimpse into a television season that would have changed the franchise's canon forever.
Okay, let's dive into this. What actually happens when explorers are forced to become soldiers? That right there is the beating heart, the absolute core theme of this lost season. We take this wildly optimistic, idealistic crew of the NX-01, people who set out simply to boldly go and chart new stars, and we suddenly thrust them into a terrifying, dark, and highly political reality, a reality where the very survival of humanity is suddenly on the line.
Here's our agenda for today's Explainer. First, a darker Enterprise. 2, evolution of the crew. 3, the Cold War ignites. 4, the Romulan War begins. And finally, birth of the Federation.
Just to establish the sheer scale of what we missed out on here, we are talking about 22 entirely unproduced episodes. This wasn't just going to be another season of Alien of the Week adventures. This was the massive narrative bridge we were promised from the very conception of the show. These 22 episodes were meticulously mapped out to connect the early prequel era of Archer's crew directly into the established, highly tense political landscape of Captain Kirk's original series.
Section 1. A darker Enterprise. The tone shifts.
And this brilliantly illustrates how we're leaving that era of wide-eyed, peaceful first contacts completely in the dust. The Alpha Quadrant is destabilizing fast. To handle this massive tonal shift toward military tension, paranoia, and desperate survival, the season was broken down into 4 distinct narrative arcs. Quarter 1, the Cold War turns hot. Quarter 2, the Coalition forms. Quarter 3, the devastating Romulan War erupts. And Quarter 4, the Federation dawn. It's a perfectly paced escalation, going from covert sabotage to all-out galactic conflict, leading ultimately to a new era of peace.
Section 2. Evolution of the crew. Characters transform.
Now, you literally can't have a universe-shattering war without your characters completely transforming to meet it, right? Take Captain Jonathan Archer. He goes from that idealistic explorer we started with to the hardened wartime commander he absolutely has to become. Archer faces a harsh, frankly crushing realization in Season 5. Deep space exploration alone just cannot preserve peace when you're facing an enemy actively hiding in the shadows. He has to harden his heart, make impossible choices, and learn that diplomacy sometimes requires a show of absolute force.
And then there's Trip Tucker. The blueprint reveals something that is absolutely huge for fans. He actually survives. Forget that controversial television finale we got. In the intended plan, Trip doesn't just survive, he is absolutely vital to the war effort. He evolves from a chief engineer simply fixing warp coils into a wartime innovator, developing the very countermeasures needed to fight the Romulans.
We also see an unbelievable addition to the bridge, Thylac Shran permanently joining the Enterprise as a military advisor. The fan favorite Andorian provides the hardcore tactical insight that Starfleet sorely lacks. He points out that explorers need soldiers to protect them, and over the course of the season, this former rival actually becomes Archer's closest, most trusted wartime ally.
Section 3. The Cold War ignites. A hidden war begins.
So the Romulan Star Empire, they don't just attack with fleets. They wage this massive hidden war of espionage, false flag operations, and psychological terror meant to just break the quadrant apart from the inside. The planned season premiere, Shadow of the Raptor, was designed as this tense, thriller-esque escalation. Step 1, Enterprise investigates a destroyed convoy with 0 weapons signatures. Step 2, they survive an unprovoked attack by a literal duplicate NX-01. And Step 3, they finally manage to trap the imposter vessel in a plasma storm, which shorts out his disguise for literally just 1 second, revealing a sharp-winged Romulan drone ship underneath.
Now, what's really fascinating about this tech is how these Romulan drone ships actually operate. These are unmanned vessels projecting polarized holographic shells to perfectly mimic Allied ships. The Romulans aren't just out there blowing things up. They're actively using these drones to frame Earth, Vulcan, Tellar, and Andoria. The goal is to provoke so much infighting that the Allies destroy each other without a single Romulan ever having to step out of the shadows.
And the crazy part, this hidden war almost works. It causes escalating fallout across the entire quadrant.
A Tellarite ambassador gets assassinated by a fake Vulcan ship. Devastating bombings on Earth falsely implicate the peaceful Denobulans. The xenophobic human group Terra Prime uses the chaos to actively sabotage alien embassies. Starfleet gets so desperate they authorize the Shadow Agency Section 31 to launch covert assassinations. Enterprise even has to recruit blind Anar telepaths just to detect the cloaked drone pilots. It is a dark period of total political instability and xenophobia.
Section 4. The Romulan War begins. The Cold War turns hot.
So, the crucial point is that by episode 12, the hidden war fails to keep the Allies apart, so the Cold War officially turns hot, completely shifting the tone of the entire series. The sheer brutal cost of this conflict is devastating. In the Red Gel Fleet ambush, a coalition naval fleet is completely annihilated. In the minefield trap, dozens of Enterprise crew members are killed in a single blow. And honestly, worst of all, at the In Shadows outpost, a hidden Earth base is destroyed by our own allies because of forged Romulan intelligence. The casualties are just astronomical, and Archer is pushed to his absolute limit.
But through all of this relentless bloodshed, the writers made a brilliant, absolutely crucial choice that perfectly respects the history of the franchise. Enterprise eventually detects the Romulan homeworld remotely, tracking their signals, but, and this is key, they ensure that no human ever sees a Romulan face-to-face. This perfectly preserves the canon established in the original series, proving you can raise the stakes to absolute maximum without breaking the rules of the universe.
Let's move to Section 5 and see how this builds. Birth of the Federation, an interstellar utopia.
So, from the ashes of this horrific war, the groundwork is finally laid for an interstellar utopia. The climax of the season is epic. The Romulans launch a final, massive offensive to stop the alliance from being ratified. Their strategy banks entirely on the coalition just crumbling under the immense pressure of an all-out assault. But instead, unprecedented unity among these diverse alien races becomes the ultimate weapon. Earth, Vulcan, Andoria, and Tellar stand shoulder to shoulder, fighting as one, and they force a full Romulan retreat.
And what happens to our crew in the aftermath of all this? Well, the blueprint gives them these incredibly satisfying canon-compliant futures. T'Pol becomes an official Federation liaison, bridging Vulcan and humanity. Trip leads next-gen starship development, and actually he officially proposes to T'Pol. Hoshi develops the Federation's universal linguistic systems, Travis finally gets his moment to shine commanding Earth cargo coordination fleets, and Malcolm Reed permanently leaves the shadowy covert ops of Section 31 behind to stand in the light.
And visually, we finally get that powerful payoff fans have been waiting for. The NX-01 Enterprise undergoes a major refit, gaining that iconic secondary engineering hull before departing space dock. But this time, it's no longer just an Earth ship. It's flying under the brand new banner of the United Federation of Planets. It's a breathtaking symbol of enduring hope and unity.
And the moment it all culminates in Captain Archer delivering the historic founding speech establishing the United Federation of Planets. This completes his ultimate transformation. He goes from a simple Warp 5 captain stepping out into the unknown with a chip on his shoulder into a foundational statesman who quite literally brings the galaxy together.
The final unproduced script literally ends with Captain Jonathan Archer looking out from the bridge, simply saying, "Let's go see what happens next." It's a poignant, awe-inspiring final line. And it matters so deeply because it reclaims the true spirit of the show, that no matter how dark the war gets, the mission of discovery never, ever truly ends.
So I want to leave you with this question to chew on. How would this lost era have reshaped our entire understanding of the Star Trek universe? What kind of ripples would this Romulan War have sent through the canon we know and love today? Think about that and never stop exploring.